Broadcasting live from the, how does this shit work again? Ravaged Bayous of Louisiana. Hello, everybody. Coming to you tonight from YouTube and my personal Facebook account. Once again, the Nakatosh Studio account is getting completely overlooked. I could have easily pushed that third button, but I didn't. And I'm gonna cut these paper towels up in penance. Yay. You know what? We often just don't look at just how fantastic a thing scissors are. Scissors. We used to have to tear paper, you know. How's everybody doing tonight? I guess I can turn on comments and take a look at everybody. And we been a little in and out of it, you know. I apologized to everybody last week. The end of the show did not end the way I wanted it to, but that's just kind of one of the things that I hope I didn't freak anybody out or, upset anybody. I'm okay. When I have a seizure, it just I lose the ability to communicate, and just kind of everything just stops working for a little bit, and then it knocks me out for about 3 days. So I'm okay. Just this is just the way it is now. So we will keep moving forward and everything. Hey, Robert Diaz. Some top shelf tier bad movies. Man, listen, my algorithm on YouTube here lately has been bombarding me with some 80s movies that would, everybody wants to talk about, they'd never make that movie today. Man, let me tell you something. These little shits, they don't even know about some of the movies that they wouldn't make today. Some of the movies, they don't need to be made today because they've already been made. Go watch that shit. But there's some shit out there that I, as a kid, right across the street from my house was a VHS rental place and a tanning salon. And it was in between you had my house, the main drag. You had VHS movies, and then you had the pizza joint, Broadway Pizza in Hooker, Oklahoma. C'est magnifique, monsieur, mademoiselle. Oh, c'est très bon. Très bon. Oh, so, fantastic. But anyway, I remember watching this movie the other day, and YouTube has been reminding me that, I need to get my prostate exam. And I seen an ad or a short for somebody talking about bad tunes, which was just an excuse to throw some animation in a movie and get some gal to show her magnificent brusty. And Sneaky Figs, good to see you. Cooter, always good to see you, comrade. Santa Jaws. Oh no, I haven't yet. I have no excuse, RD. No excuse whatsoever. I need to do it, but I am just I've got some I Post-it notes are now my best friend. You ever see those shows where the crazy person, the normal person is concerned, so they walk into their boss's office and there's post-it notes everywhere, and that's how they know that something's changed in the cognitive function of their superior. Um, I am that post-it note guy. I buy that shit by the friggin' stack, baby. If I don't make a note, and you know what, I, I only have a $2,000 black mirror here that has a note function on it that I really need to start making some use of, because I keep meaning to. I swear to you. Uh, all right, let me get in frame. Scouts honor. Before next week, I will watch Santa Jaws. You have my word. I will be prepared. I'm gonna. Fact is, hold on. Let me get my post-it. Somebody's made off my post-it notes. You communist swine! I got them right here. They were in my desk the whole time. Watch Santa Jaws. All right, look. I got the note right here. Watch Santa Jaws. Putting it right here so I do not forget. Thy will be done. Man, I always forget some of the movies that David Carradine took roles in. That just, it's no wonder Quentin Tarantino just absolutely loved that guy. Lee Glacier, always a pleasure. Um, David Car. I grew, my some of my earliest television memories was, you know, Kung Fu with David Carradine. Snatch it upon, the stone from my hand, and you'll be ready to leave, and you'll be ready to open up another beer, grasshopper. Howdy, Rowdy. Hey, listen, before I go on, if you missed Rowdy's Roundup number 36, airing previous to this show, make sure you go back and hit that replay crew and do it. Do it. Um, he just that and listen, some actors get a lot of shit um because of some of the roles they took, but you know what, they were working. It was different times. If you didn't have stuff coming up, big name stuff, you just got in there and you worked. Because let me tell you some of the roles that Mark Hamill took when he couldn't get work after Star Wars. I have seen Mark Hamill's buttocks in feature film. Didn't need to, but it happened. So, um, yeah, Mark Hamill, love that guy. Um, it ah, what a week. I don't remember half of this week because I've been kind of in and out of it a little bit. So, but and yeah, so I do got to say again, I am broadcasting on multiple channels tonight. So all of my Facebook friends who don't understand how YouTube works, congrats. Welcome to the show. Um Tonight, I promise you, we're gonna bullshit a little bit, get the yapping, out of the way. But I do have this that I'm working on. I think there we go. We're gonna be um I think I don't know. We're gonna see. Maybe we'll adjust it a little bit, but I've got some painting that I've just absolutely got to get working on tonight. So we're going to be talking about some art supplies. We're going to be doing a little painting, live painting, and because I've got to get this done, and the B12 is working today, so I am gonna put on my little pinky ring, and we're gonna. I love this ring. Is that not the biggest ruby you ever seen? Real ruby. Want to see something cool about rubies? If you take a ruby, you always want to know if you got a ruby or a real ruby or a real sapphire. Take a UV light, and they will light up like a neon sign. Don't tell your friends, because I like buying that shit cheap at junk shops. But yeah. Oh, thank you, Max, for those little known facts of shit that I will never need in my life. That is appreciated. I got oh plus 10 to my necromancy. Oh, the Guyver. You know what? If any movie deserved a reboot, the Guyver is it. Because I liked the Guyver. And that was a movie that I went into. I saw the cover of the VHS. Yeah, oh yeah, you're fucking old, Max. Yeah, I seen some shit. Guyver was one of those that I had such high expectations for, even for the time period for which it was released. And it was so bad. And I know a lot of it wasn't necessarily the people that were in it. It was too short, and it was limited by the CGI and practical effects of the time. Which is, budget concerns, because nobody in this side of the Pacific knew what the fucking Guyver was. I've still to this day. What? No, that's not true. It's only been the last 5 years that I even had access without specially ordering it. Guyver manga. I've seen a few issues, but even the manga's not super widespread unless you're just a super dork, which, I probably qualify for. But I don't know. I was, until he just, like, even Batman had some 55 millimeter cannons on the front end of the Batmobile. It's cool, MacGyver. Just, pick up a gun. Indy could, had a revolver. You can, some things only guns can fix. Going into the war, I'm going into a fucking war zone and discovering Alexander's lost tomb, and all I've got's a paper clip, some chewing gum, and some dude wipes. It's all you need. It's all you need. No, bud. You need you need at minimum at least an AR-17 or something like that. Some kind of you know. I'll be blowing snot bubbles. Oh. Lord have mercy. I'm just, yeah. Listen, no, anyway. Then they made what I think they made a second, like a Guyver 2, and it was just, no, come on. Oh, yeah. I just seen this comment. No. It's just bad movie. You good? Yeah, okay. I'll give you that. Um, I like the storyline for both of them, but two tip pots and a chocolate bar survived him. Yeah, but you drop him in central Louisiana and he'd be gone in 5 minutes. Oh Lord. You know what? I need to do an EDC episode. I genuinely do. Just my everyday carry. Even in the crippled, battered form that I am now. I've still got a EDC pouch that I carry with me, and I got my medical, I got my little what do they call it? Your little what you grab when you bounce. Um, that I need to do it. Yeah, I need to do an EDC episode. Just what's in your man purse, Max? That I don't know you. This is my purse. Um, somebody talking about Rowdy talking about MacGruber. I have yet to see it. What's the name of the guy who the actor who Will Forte? Yeah, I think that's his name. He I like him and I appreciate his humor, but I can only take it in small doses. Um, Now he did a movie where he talked about where he played the founder of um, is it Will Arnett? That's MacGruber. Oh, I love Will Arnett. Um, I must be thinking. Uh, Maybe I'm just not thinking. That's it. Max is yapping about shit he don't know about, trying to fit in with the cool kids. That's cool. Y'all caught me. Sorry. Oh, it has been, yeah, it's been a week. Pretty sure almost everybody in the house got COVID. So kid comes home and is like, I don't feel good. I'm like, okay, baby girl, just take it easy then, whatever you need to do. And then the next day she gets up 5 minutes. She's like, well, I don't have any classes because my professor's got the Rona. Oh, wonderful. Thought I felt like shit. So that, because that's what somebody with seizures and epilepsy and neck problems needs is something that makes you dizzy and fall over. Um, yeah, yeah, Will Fort. Yeah, okay. See, I was all right. See, gaslighting woman. I swear to God. He did a movie about it was a documentary, a loose documentary about the founder of National Lampoon. Fantastic, fantastic. I grew up. National Lampoon was. I mean, I saw those before I ever saw a regular titty mag. So it was like comedy and boobs. What? Ah, what a world. I'm gonna do a little the amazing hydration. Y'all follow suit. Hmm. I hope y'all checked out last week because still loving my Spooderman, especially with the magnets. Got a perfect little spot for him. Right on my lamp. He just sits there, gives me a thumbs up. Yeah, Joe McHale played Chevy Chase, and it's no wonder him and Chevy kind of had a falling out. I don't think I don't think Chevy appreciated him playing that role. I think he was kind of pissed about it actually. But what doesn't piss off Chevy Chase? So um it yeah, it was a good movie. It's still his ending was, did he slip and fall? Did he jump off a cliff? Oh, did you get the full package? Because like I seen a review of the full package, and that's 4 feet of sewer. I don't even know where I would put that. I've got a lot of barrister bookcases that I use for my figures and stuff like that. And I really I I need to pick up one of those. They're he did a fantastic job with it. Everything Ace does is fantastic. Um I can't recommend Raymond Toys, and that I wish he would get the respect. I felt really angered. I've always been a loyal, loyal subjects fan. And I love, they did a line of small GI Joe figures that they did, kind of the little, mini droopy ones, um, like the used toys and stuff like that. And they've done some other things over the years, and I've always liked loyal subjects. And I never thought they've got the respect. And then they did the mask toys, and those things are absolute shit. And Ace from Raymond Toys made a better unreleased version. And yes, he did it without licensing and all that. And I understand those controversies, but he approached them, I think, at uh, New York Comic Con or something like that, and was like, "Hey, I'm Ace from Raymond Toys. I did this. I would love to work with y'all, and he wasn't even in the release phase, I believe, at that time. And they just totally threw nothing but disrespect at him. And that I think they're I think that's correct, Rowdy. Don't hold me to that, but I know they're on the same shelf. They're always right next to each other. Yeah, and their TMNT stuff was good as far as turtle stuff goes. Um, but there we go. Maybe time to charge the mouse. But them disrespect being just absolute asses to Ace is just that is probably one of the nicest people in the toy biz. Um, so and he's just somebody who, he really likes masks. He's got the helmet, the full uh 1/1 scale helmet from Mask that he's doing. Oh, that thing is phenomenal. Um, I think they would give my cat a TMNT license. That's who everybody's got a TMNT license. It's almost hell. You even got isn't Hasbro doing some now? Thought they had something going on. I didn't pay attention because I'm I'll tell you the only turtles, my wife is the turtle fan. She is, and I'm a little bit of a turtle fan on certain things, but I am like old school comic book Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original stuff. But I'll tell you what, the turtles that Medi Toys is putting out, phenomenal. in articulation, in texture, design, everything about those Meditoy uh, turtles are fantastic. They are, yeah, Mirage Comics. Yeah, that's my those are my turtles. I never got much into the cartoon series. And I've met a couple of voice actors over the years. Really nice fellow, but I cannot stand their turtle voices. It just ugh, it gets me. Um, but yeah, Medi toys are they're um oh t- why? Who's asking for that? Who? And I get it. You're gonna do a shredder look like, you know what? That's what I seen, Cooter. It was the shredder that had the Cobra Commander helmet on it. And I was just like, that just I somebody's gonna want it. And probably in 20 years, that's probably gonna be like, man, you got any of those G.I. Joe Team Turtle crossovers for under $1,000, man? I need it. You know, but that just that's I, it's too much, especially when you've got even Playmates is dropping turtles. That's that's how bad it's gotten. When that'd be like Hasbro saying, just spreading GI Joe out over everybody. Where Mattel and everybody's doing GI Joe enough to where Hasbro's like, you know what, we're good. No more GI Joe. We're not doing GI Joe. That's what when Playmates says enough is enough. We don't need that license anymore. You've sold that shit to too many people. And honestly, third party is doing it better than everybody. Mm. Yeah. Too late. Yeah. It's I mean, Turtles was everywhere. I remember back in the day when it was just Playmates. When they first got it was everywhere. You couldn't walk down the bath aisle. You couldn't walk down Home Goods. You couldn't walk down a toy aisle without, shit. When the Mr. Whippy was coming down the street with his ice cream truck, it was all turtles. Um, you weren't getting that Duke and Destro ice cream on a stick anymore. You were getting, the four turtles. Um, it it just I would be curious as a logistics man what a license goes for and that's what I want to know. What would it cost for average toy company to license a turtle product? Because Breaking Bad, you know what? I'm all for that one. Breaking Bad, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover. If I could get Baxter Stockton as Walter White and some Mousers as Jesse Pinkman, I'm good. Yeah, I've got what I need. Let's see. You get the gecko guy as Saul Goodman. Let's see what anyway. But see, Robert T, you always excel at getting me off friggin' topic. Um what right Ninja Turtles and Stripperella. I'm pretty sure that's been done. That's got to be out there. I'm not going looking for it, but it's got to be out there. Um it what would a license what do you think a license runs these companies? it's got to be it, it it's got to be fairly feasible. And it's not like, if I'm a toy producer and I make a 2.5 or 2 inch Crimson Guard. This is the toy I produce. Another company comes up to me and was like, "I want to make a Crimson Guard, but I'm only going to make it in McFarlane size, 7 inch figures." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. Just don't make it in 2 inch size, and we're all good." I can understand that. Um, what I can't understand is you've got a company who buys a license for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then immediately, within months, another company, a competitor, produces a different version, but the same turtle in the same scale. And it's just, you've got, I mean, what a time to be alive for TMNT fans. What a time. Because you've got your choice, whatever you want. Just can't get out of your He-Man collection stuff, but you want to get into Turtles? Well, there's a gateway drug right there. Let me show you something. It God, I hope not. Honestly, and listen, I'm not like rooting for Netflix, but I hope Netflix gets that shit. I really do, because I know what it would become if Paramount gets it. You think shit disappeared off HBO now? Like how they took away Foster's Home for Imaginary creatures, made it disappear, and then come out with a stupid fucking Ryan Reynolds movie, just totally ripping off the you think that shit went down before? Wait till you see what happens if Paramount buys it. So many IPs are going to disappear, and so many everything you fucking love is going to be gone, and they're going to replace it with crappy Ryan Reynolds movie. Bet your ass. Oh yeah, and it'll also have a lot of Mussolini references in it too. So yeah, you're not wrong about that, Rowdy. Paramount can kiss my ass. I'll never forgive them. They've totally how Star Trek, even after Gene Roddenberry passed, was an indestructible franchise. You had a system. They had a flawless system that was always good for at least 7 to 9 seasons. If you had the good writers, you'd have a main story arc episode. Then you'd have a filler episode. Then you have a individual episode. Then you have a holodeck episode. You had a system that was in place for writers to adhere to produce really good content and good Star Trek stories. And Paramount, if you can fuck up Star Trek, you do not deserve to do anything on television, period. If you just look at just a short list of the things that we have today technologically, strictly because of the existence of Star Trek, and tell me how many things that we're going to have in the future. If you cut it off, you started Star Trek 5 years ago, say with Discovery or J.J. Abrams, and just took it from that point and just blacked out everything, previous to that. Tell me how many people are gonna scientists and technicians and engineers are going to be inspired by what they see with that programming to produce technology for our future based on those episodes. And I'm going to tell you that nobody is inspired by that shit. Um, Absolutely, Star Trek has always been political. Absolutely, 100%. There's an old story that three science fiction authors sat alone in a room one day and found and said, "What's the best way to rule the world?" And it was Roddenberry, that jackass from Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard, and Isaac Asimov. And they were just like, and Roddenberry was like this, and it's just a story, an analogy, if you. I don't believe that it happened, but each of these people went out and decided that Asimov decided that robots are probably the best way into the future because the flesh is weak, and Roddenberry decided that the best this was his guiding way, and then L. Ron Hubbard just wanted to get paid. And if you're a Scientologist and you're watching this and you get offended, I don't give a shit. mm. But hey, why keep the box? Welcome. How you doing? I thought about you today when I got rid of 2 boxes. I got Lifeline in today, and the Night Viper, which was one of my favorite figures back in the 3 3/4 days. They did this guy right. Very simple, but very, very right. Something that they could have done this entire time is make. Let me get it off here. Oh, it doesn't come off easy. I'm going to break this damn thing. A removable helmet. That simple. A removable helmet. And it looks damn good on, and it looks damn good off. But let me tell you something. A little piece of advice for anybody. You can remove this little lens. Don't. Because let me tell you, that little peg underneath, it's got a little red eye, and you can use it without. But it does not want to come off, and it does not want to go back on. So did Lifeline come with his butt chugging dog? Yeah, it's got the little IV bag, and it's kind of neat. And I put the little, oxygen mask in there. But it's my biggest problem with him is they give you a set of goggles that are supposed to go on his head over the helmet, and it just is not. You thought those Viper helmets were a pain to get on there. Wait till you get a load of me. It kind of sits there, but I know when I set it in the case, it's not going to stay. I prefer the 25th anniversary Lifeline. That was a really good figure. This one's just okay. I'm not unimpressed, and I'm not, and everybody's like, well, the pistol, and man, fuck that. I'll tell you what, that Lifeline off the cartoon, if you liked that character, you just need to quit, because that was being reminded every episode that, well, I'm a pacifist, I can't do this. It just, you know what? Listen, we get it. Make that point and then move the fuck on. Okay, we get it. We're watching a show about, a secret military force going against terrorists. We don't need reminded every episode that you're a pacifist. Say it. We're kids. We get it. But the guy who voiced Lifeline, bless his heart. All respect to fellow voice actor, but you made him the whiniest, most annoying character in all G.I. Joe. I wanted to hate that character, but and he never really made too much of an appearance in the comic books, because Larry Hama probably didn't have no time for that bullshit. Yeah. How do you know Lifeline is conscientious objector? Don't worry, he'll tell you every fucking episode, multiple times. You know what? If Doc can carry a gun, you can too. And if Doc, maybe Doc needed to carry a bigger gun, and then Saw Viper wouldn't have mowed his ass down. Too soon? Sorry. Anyway, I did see somebody post up the other day that if they were really bothered too much about the pistol, apparently the taser from the police officer figure fits right in there, so he can carry a taser. And but you can also just say that, look up how many times tasers and rubber bullets kill, and you'll probably decide that it's not that big a deal. It's just got a regular gun. He's probably less lethal with an actual gun than with a taser, because tasers kill a lot more than you think. So I had a buddy of mine. I'll tell a story that's not mine to tell. He was going through taser training out in Virginia, and he got to watch his buddy just flatline. They got him back, but he just absolutely, because in order to carry a taser, you got to go through taser training. Part of taser training, you get hit with a taser. And let me tell you, tasers fucking hurt. You don't care how tough you are going to scream like a stuck pig. And you're going to sound like a 3-year-old who stubbed their toe. And it came up, he took his turn, and he was over there kind of recouping a little bit. And his buddy stepped up and was like, I'm next. And I mean, this guy was a brute, big old dude. And they hit him with that taser, and he didn't make a sound. He said he just dropped. And they spent the next few minutes hitting him with the AED pack, getting his heart going again. Yeah, just stopped everything. And so, yeah. But, yeah, listen, don't take my word for it. There are plenty of videos out there talking about what a shit company Taser is and a lot of the cover up crap that they do. So there's that. But yeah, but listen, Night Viper, like I said, this was one of my favorite characters as a kid. The toy was just phenomenal, and they did a good job with this. Um, I like how they've got the glossy finish. It looks like they're using some of the uh, stuff that we paid for from the His Tank, figure wise. At least it looks like some of the boots are. But the glossy and then the matte finish, they did a good job on that. That's and that helmet being able to come off, that is fantastic. Now, give me a Crimson Guard with a removable helmet. Give me, you know, troop builders. I'm hit and miss on whether you need a removable helmet, but I should be able to take that helmet off and see balaclava with a red, some kind of red mask on there on any Cobra figure. So, and the same way with the Steel Brigade on the GI Joes. We know you can make a removable helmet with that. So be able to take it off and just have a green balaclava underneath there. It's classified. It should be the next step up. Um, yeah, you'd think that, but it's not. It's different. It's if you were a fan of the Night Viper, I think you'll like this figure. It's not above and beyond, but it's still it's it's a good version. Still got and the weapon, the rifle's a little less gummy till you get back towards the back. It's got they got this where you can swing it around now on a couple pegs. Um but that removable helmet is uh impressive. And let's see. Hold on. I guess I got an actual repurposed Alley Viper uh, right here, so I can compare. Um, no, Night Viper's a lot thinner. It's doesn't look like they use. It's not any of the same parts. Hold on. Let me. Nope. Nope. It looks like it's all new parts. New mold. New mold. um, I still wish they would take the. You know, we all know that these companies bite off each other. That they figured out that as long as you don't glue the little backs on these two-piece backpacks, that the backpack opens and there's a cavity in there. So why don't you do that? That'll save you a couple cents, and you can put that towards something else. So it's they did a good job. Um, and I am a little bit biased because the Night Viper again was one of my favorite figures as a kid. I had a lot of fun with this guy, and them doing some of the glossy armor with the but do not take that off. And that was a little bit of my. You talk about alley vipers. That goes along with what I was talking about with the helmets too. There's no reason, even with that lift up faceplate on the alley vipers, there was no reason that helmet you couldn't make that helmet come off. No reason. Ooh, 3 times. Lord have mercy. They giving them Jaguars that you man, your boy might have been on something. I'm just saying. That I got hit with a taser by mistake. They were aiming for the dude next to me and hit me. Uh and I probably had it coming anyway, but it did absolutely. The only thing that hurt was those prongs piercing my skin, and then I got a little, you know. It's probably the reason I got some of the. That's probably what gave me epilepsy. That fucking taser. I wonder if I might be entitled to compensation. But yeah, like Rowdy says, I ain't trying to get tased. I got it once by accident, and I don't. Maybe I didn't get. Maybe his battery was low or something. I don't know, but it didn't. It didn't do shit to me. It didn't drop me. All it did, I got hit. He hit that thing. I turned around and was like, "The fuck are you doing?" there was a. There was definitely a look of. Did I do something wrong here? But yeah, it's yeah. Of course, my grandfather. I'll tell you a little story. We're talking about non-lethals and talk about some rubber bullets. Um, back in the day, back in the 50s, 60s, my grandfather ran a gun shop in Denver, Colorado, and he got in a box of wax bullets because I'm assuming that it was a harder wax than just like candle wax or paraffin, and he was sitting in the gun shop, and his buddy was like, "Those things wouldn't drop a fly." And Grandpa was like, "Well, let's find out." He says, "I'll bet you, a silver dollar, whatever he bet him, and enough to where the guy was going to let my grandpa shoot him." And so he loaded up and he walked across the street. Now, this is I can't remember the name of the street. It's one of the main drags in Denver, Colorado. Um, and it'll come to me. It starts with a C, I think, something like that. Denver, drop it in the comments. I know but it's one of the main drags there in Denver, and early enough in the 50s that you could still unleash a 45 caliber Colt Peacemaker and shoot your buddy across the street. So he walked across. I'm thinking at least 2 or 3 lanes of traffic, leaned up against a telephone pole, and Grandpa, bam, and that even. I don't think Grandpa lost that bet. That guy was like, "You know what? Here's your money." I think he broke 2 of his ribs. But yeah. Anyway, it's funnier when my grandpa told it. So, but don't shoot your buddies with rubber bullets. Use the real ones. They. Oh boy. Anyway, so I need to probably get a little bit of painting done because I can put down a layer. It takes what I got to do tonight. It's got to let some dry, but I'm using my Miyazaki paint set. And before I do, I've got some distilled water. I need to, while I'm chatting, I need to wetten this stuff down. So I'm just gonna give everything a little moisturizer. Clean my palette off because it is an absolute mess. I have been Haystack. Oh, you heard some of those stories my grandpa told. That was probably one of the nicer ones. My grandpa was good at only a few things, and shooting people was one of them. I it not many people out there who could say they were raised by a professional gunman. Hey, life ain't life without Roy G. Biv. He's what makes us all what we are. It's good to see you, Moses. I was across, I've got my chair where I sit, and right underneath my TV, I have a little glass dome with one of my prized possessions, which is a hand engraved uh, tattoo machine. And I was looking at that today and was thinking about you, Moses. And then I looked over at my little singing bowl and thought about you some more. And then I remembered that extreme vibrations from singing bowls send me into seizures. And he was. And I'm going to tell you, if you only knew half the stories that I know, that I've got, if anybody wants to know about my grandfather, I have a very good video in my playlist. And you get to see me out of the fez and in a cowboy hat. It's my favorite Stetson. And boy, it just seems so, that is just too clean a palette. Just not even right. I don't usually clean my palette. Um, but when you're working on a commission piece, it is sometimes good to have a fresh, clean start. Because you'll get halfway through it and be like, what color did I use? But anyway, if you would like to know more about Max's grandfather, Sam, I have a pretty good video on him that is worth a watch and recorded live during the anniversary of my grandfather and grandmother's marriage. Ooh, these things are super dry. Let's get some water on these. This, I need to do this palette that I just showed you is a Hayao Miyazaki palette, and I recreated it to his original colors. In fact, I spent 2 or 3 years hunting down a couple of these colors that have been discontinued since like 1980. It dear gods, we don't ever need to speak of that. Um, see, I'm trying to talk about legitimate shit, and you want to break up the fact that I was brainwashed. It. Never mind. You know what? I don't even want to talk about that. Now, go away. You're gonna bring up some childhood trauma that I still haven't dealt with. Um, so there is there's a guy, if you YouTube search Hayao Miyazaki palette, there is a Japanese artist out there who spent a lot of time in research recreating his original watercolor palette that he used for designing all the way back to Nausicaa, Kiki's Delivery Service, every Studio Ghibli palette, watercolor art that Hayao Miyazaki did. And I believe he still uses this same palette to this day, with the exception of background art, which I have discovered what the Studio Ghibli uses for background color. There's a nice gouache kit, but right now $250 is out of my budget. So At $2.50 is out of my budget right now. So, which is why I got to hurry up and get this commission piece done so I can hopefully take on some more. So, I need to. This is my brush bowl, and I cannot recommend this enough. Japanese ceramic company. And because I am an elitist artist, I only rinse my brushes with distilled water. So just like my CPAP machine, my brushes get the best. And I hope I've got enough. Oh, just enough. That is it. The reason it's not elitism, the reason you use distilled water with your brushes is because you're less likely when you rinse your brushes and do a little brush cleaner on them, you're less likely to see mold or anything else like that than using tap water. Tap water bad. So yeah, don't use tap water. Even just, if you can get $1 for some spring water or something like that, it's still better than even in my spray bottle, always distilled water. Um, just a couple pennies here and there can make all the difference in your artwork. And it's also, especially when you're dealing with watercolor, uh, less so with acrylic, but sometimes uh, distilled water can mean a big difference as to whether you start getting foxing or some kind of mildew on your watercolor paper. So, just a little bit of, um, little art advice for you. Who doesn't love My Neighbor Totoro? Fuck, fascists. That's who doesn't like My Neighbor Totoro. It that should be Hayao Miyazaki. I just I will never have enough positive things to say about it. Whether or not he lives up to that as a person, you know, I don't tea with him often. Um, but as a artist and a creator, he is someone whose respect I just he's earned it. Okay, we got the big $300 brushes. Gonna do a ugh. God damn, Max, clean your brushes. You know what, Haystack? That I'm getting just like this is not. I put this brush away unclean, and I'm thinking the last time I used it, um, was doing a painting for your sister. So, which is also if you're looking for a 8-hour video of me live painting, is also on my YouTube channel. So I think I pretty much do almost start to finish on that painting. Um, you've never watched any? Oh, I bet you. I bet you've watched. Maybe you haven't watched any Studio Ghibli, but I bet There's no way you have to have never watched any kind of Japanese animation to say that you've never seen a Hayao Miyazaki movie. Um, Wait a minute, throw a little bit of cleaner on. That brush is filthy. Dirty boy. All right. Never nude, just scantily clad. At the nude. Is that how the family refers to it? Just call it up just when you're coming over for Thanksgiving, you're like, where's the nude hanging? Lordy. Ah, I also, I just, probably a good thing I didn't run into Pops or your mom, but I probably would have got an earful. But, all right, let's see if we can figure out. There's got to be. All right, and hello. See if you can. All right, if you're wondering what some of this blue is on here, let's see if I can get this. So, what this blue is drawing gum. And what it is I've got to put a layer down on here. And then once I get the background done, or at least to a certain area, then all of this will come off. And it's a little tacky. Always have you a good horsehair brush laying around. The nude. Oh, I get the feeling that my name always comes up at Thanksgiving dinner. I don't know. Maybe. Everybody still hear me all right? Okay. All right, here goes. No take backsies. Thing's a lot bigger than it looks. And doing background, always try to work outer edges. That way, if I decide I don't like it, always come in. And most of this that I'm doing right now will be probably changed up, added to. We've got some fiery red up here. We've got some neon green over in here. We've got lots of different swirls coming out of the sake bottle that we're going to be working on. Hoping to get to a few of them tonight. First, this stuff. This is about a $2,500 piece. So I don't really want to screw it up, because if you screw it up, you pretty much have to start over. And that really annoys me. And don't worry, we'll get back to once I kind of get a little bit done on here, we'll go back to regular format. Some thicky up in. Yeah. Jeez. I had started this piece once already, and typically with watercolor work, unless I'm doing, traditional tattoo work, which this is kind of based off of. This is actually based off a back piece that I did. Guy wanted with a back piece, it's kind of hard to be able to see it. Just get to hear about it from everybody show it off to. So he wanted a piece he could hang up on the wall that see it, but I didn't want to do it just like it was tattoo design. The standard flash sheet artwork and stuff like that. I'm going to go a little bit creative on this and change it up, because he's already got the design once on his back. Why would you want the exact same design hanging on the wall? Put a little bit of see, what sucks is with my neck being the way it is, seizures, I can usually only paint for a couple hours at a time. Does not sit well, and I'm more likely to break. Usually for about every 2 hours of artwork that I can do, It takes me about 4 hours of yeah. There we go. All right. Now we got to let that dry because a lot of the other colors that I'm going to be doing have nothing to do with yellow. Do need some Waverly Color Company Japanese red. It's phenomenal, phenomenal color. Uh, which is actually the same brand of tattoo pigment that I used on the back tattoo. So we're gonna doing quite a bit of that, but I've got to clean this brush and switch brushes. Listen, if you paint and you are not using brush cleaner, you do not love your brushes. But always clean your brushes. Something I do is after I've washed them, clean them good, just give it a, if I'm not going to use this brush again, time being, just give it a little wipe with that and then return your brush tip. Just kind of give it, form it back into shape. A little too wet. Then form it back into shape before you put it back up. That way, the next time you use it, uh, you're least likely to. I've had this brush for 24 years and I have literally thousands of hours of use on it and it still runs like a brand new brush. Let's see. One of my other favorite brushes. These, that's a good brush. That is Princeton Art and Brush Company. It's called a wash brush. And this little end on, you can do, scrape in some designs and a few things like that. It's a good brush. Shake that up. Need one. Take a couple drops of that Japanese. Maybe. Come on. Gotten a little thick on me. No, I'm going to use some of that Japanese, but I'm not ready to put it on the board. I need to stick with my Miyazaki stuff. Yeah, Bob Ross was the goat, man. That and I a lot of his philosophy I fully agree with. You know, he was like, there's no such things as accidents. And in a lot of ways, he's absolutely right. There's been plenty of times where I have done something that I thought was just that's it. I've ruined the piece. There's nothing salvageable from this. It's fucking done, man. And then I sit there and it allows me to, take a step back and look at it and say, oh, you know what? Here's another way that I could do that where I'm not necessarily fixing my mistake, but I'm doing something that, not only takes away what I didn't like or didn't want to happen, but also adds to the piece. And that's something that's a lot of people are like, I've been asked before, when did you know you were an artist? And that's the absolute truth of the answer. When I got to the point where I could just throw some shit on a board or a piece of paper and make something from it that I was happy with, that I didn't completely hate. um that's when I knew that's when it was working for me. It wasn't necessarily you know uh are you an artist? First time I knew I was an artist is when I got fucking paid for this shit. um that's that's when you know you're an artist, when you get that check. um that's the first time I got paid was Texas County Fairgrounds. I won a award for a piece of art. I don't even remember what the hell it was now. I'm fairly certain that I don't either own that piece or I think I sold it. And lines go away. But yeah, when you do something, and it's when you can figure out a way to work around what's wasn't supposed to happen and make it work anyway. That's It's especially useful. I found that trait to be really useful when I was tattooing, when I was still a tattooer. Because when you're working on somebody's skin and you do something that isn't right, you've got to figure out how to make it right before their husband or their girlfriend sees it, or their best friend, and they're like, "What the fuck is that shit? What did you do to my friend?" um, because that can end very badly very quickly. So you've always got to, tattooing definitely brought a lot of that into perspective for me. Um, because you've got to be able to fix that. If you do a line and not that kind of line, you animals. Um, you put a line for a for a tattoo on somebody, and it ain't right, you got to figure out how to make it right. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Let's see. Want this brush. We're going to switch over to a 12 round. You've got some goop on. I don't like that. Why is there goop on my brushes? That off. Maybe I'm gonna get. If you got something stuck to your brushes, you definitely don't want to get that off before you go painting, because nothing will screw up painting faster than some sticky shit on one of your brushes. Choose none of it on my hands. I had a painting I was doing one time, and I was working right about in here in the middle of the painting. And on the back of my hand was a whole bunch of, and by the time I looked, I had smeared it all the way down the sides. And that was one of those, yeah, we'll just go ahead and start over situations. So, all right, use a little bit of the Waverly. Dab it into a few locations. Oh, hello, kitty. Meow. Meow. What you want, Fluff? Huh? I wish I could get a better camera angle on this. I really have no room on my desk to use my above camera. Oh, lines. Now this is still watercolor pigment, technically, but this is an acrylic watercolor. So it is a lot less forgiving sometimes than I want it to be, but it is such a pigment. Waverly Color Company. It's the tattoo pigment you've got to be a licensed tattooer to be able to get, but the watercolor stuff you can order as a civilian, and it is, if you do watercolors, it is wonderful stuff and not expensive, and a little bit goes a long way. I cannot stress that part enough. It just seems to go on forever. No, go, no, go bug somebody else. You've got your kibble. Leave me alone, cat. Okay, damn it, she really did leave me alone. Playing. My 17-year-old cat. She is a needy lady. I got to be real careful not to pull on this because you can start to pull up this frisket. I have got a lot of background work to get done before I am at that point. I've probably got, I don't know, maybe 20 hours on background work before I'll move on to doing the Ani mask and the dragons and koi. If anybody wants to see, um, that angle is good. Is that you talking about the like the acrylic paint like they use for um, leather working? Is that the angle you're talking about? I have used, if that's the one you're talking about, I have used that. I've never used it on paper. Uh, Typically, when I did flash sheets, I used FW. That it's good stuff. I need to I need to break down and order one of those little jiggly boobs that shakes your pigment for you. Um, that stuff is. I used to have one, but it is a beefy boy. It's an old paper sorter from a bank, and it weighs about 30 pounds. You used to put a bunch of your checks in it, and it would shake it till all the paper was where it was supposed to be. I don't know how to explain it. But there we go. And it was fantastic, but that thing was is just way too big. They got those ones now, they're just kind of small, look like little boobs. Oh, gotta check your drips. All I need is a big old drip of that. I used to make the mistake back in the day of doing, and again, if I'm, it depends on the piece. It's a case by case, uh, system of painting watercolor. But typically, if I'm working on a big piece like this, background comes first, or at least the majority of it, because there's always going to be those little, touch spots that you need to get uh, to fine tune it towards the end. All your edges and stuff like that. But I used to always just go straight for the main piece. Get get the beef of the piece done. And then you got to try to work all those backgrounds around and all that shit. It's just like, God damn it, what a pain in the ass. And you just spend more time. So, but the problem with that is getting a good drawing gum, because I've had some of this stuff, like the Winsor Newton stuff, is absolute shite. Um, you'll sit there and you'll finish getting all your background done, and you've had that frisket on there for a couple days, and you go to pull it off, and half of your paper comes up with it, and it will just destroy you because I work with hot press archival paper. It's very smooth. I don't like texture with my watercolor paper, and unless I do, but this stuff right here is what a lot of comic book artists use for doing. If you ever see a comic book and it has a black blah 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 black background, and you've got white letterings in there, a lot of people think they would go in and do white ink for all that lettering. Nope, they do it with this, and then they paint the black over it, and they go back and remove it, and your lettering's all there. Um, it I should do a comic book. It's just another life. That would have been me. Archie Goodwin had plans for me, and I didn't. I fucked them all up. All right. I think that's about all the painting I am going to. Let's see. Is it more I could do tonight? Eh, you know what? I guess I can put those greens in there. Let's see. And luckily, I have a wonderful artist daughter who will hopefully, if with enough begging, help me with some of this if I get too bad off. She does take chicken nuggets as a form of bribery, so I might get. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's the and I am out of paper towels. Hey, watch out for that cat. I put him there on purpose. I didn't step on the cat. They did it. I'm trying not to talk myself into more painting. I need to stop. I need to, you know, you gotta. Oh, two? I just two? That's all I get? Well, I guess two. You give me lots more? Nah, that's fine. This will be enough. That's the thing about watercolors, especially doing the background the way I'm doing it. It's not always the case. But in this case, I definitely need to stop talking myself into painting more because I need to let it dry. You don't want to, one, I don't want to, for the water to get underneath that frisket where it starts saturating that page because that's when you can get things tearing up. So giving it a few minutes and letting it dry, it it doesn't take that long, and I got a nice air vent right above my head, so something's blowing on it. But my Tylenol's kicking in, and I'm feeling like I can do things. B12, that stuff's great. And all I do is think about B12. I didn't even take any today. Get my brushes. I'll have, hopefully, by next week will absolutely be more painting and yapping. Just to let you know, first hour I do a lot of yapping. Second hour I'm gonna hope, just kind of like tonight, um, do some more painting. And if anybody has any painting questions, even if you're on the replay squad, just post a comment. I paid a shit ton of money to learn how to do watercolors. And I know you cheap shits ain't going to send me none of that. So I might as well just give it to you. So there you go. You're getting free watercolor questions, free art questions. I'm always listen, I joke. I'm always happy to share an art technique. Something that helps. You know what? If it gets you drawing or painting, I got you, fam. Got a product I got that you'd like to know about? Just pop me a question either in the chat or in the comments after the show. Comments after the show are best because uh, then I get a message, and sometimes when they're in the live chat, they get lost. If they're hard to pull back up, so just post up some questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. And if I don't know, then we'll learn something together. So, how you doing, Michael? Nice to see you here. Yeah, it's. I don't know. It'll make a lot more sense when it starts. It doesn't. It just looks like a big yellow mess right now. But when it starts coming together, it will make a lot more sense, especially when I start working on individual sections, like the couple samurai swords. I got a Ani mask, a sake bottle, two dragons, and two koi fish, and then some more background to do little bits here and there. So it when I start working on individual pieces, it'll be a lot easier to do some visuals, and I can probably take it off the drawing board and bring it where my overhead camera can, where I can do a little bit with that. So, but then you don't get, just get to see the back of my head, and that's what everybody tunes in for. It's all about the back of Max's big old fat head. It's I've been, I like I said, this is actually version 2 on this painting. I started it once before, and the way I started drawing it like it was a flash sheet, and I just, not the way to do it, especially to get the way I wanted it done. So doing it this way, it takes a little bit longer, and I just, with my neck fusion, I can't be down in its face for long periods of time. So getting about an hour to 2 hours of work um, is usually when I start reaching my limit. So, and I can already feel like, especially after the week I've had with just sneezing and coughing and everything else, this was the perfect amount of work. So you can kind of get a little idea what we're doing here. Like I said, it really looks bad because you've got all this stuff covering. So, but that's what we need. Art looks like shit until it doesn't. That's the key to it. Just you keep doing it until you hate it, and then when you really hate it, that's when you're probably doing it right. So, or you're really fucking it up. Listen, I want everybody to do me a favor. Make sure that you hit that like button. I haven't always asked for this in the past, but this is I've been this is really the first episode after the 1 year anniversary of starting this show, and doing this as a thing. And this thing that I'm doing is the only thing I can do. They're the good news is they're probably about to put me on disability. So we'll see. I'm government man. I'm here to help. But it's going to help out a lot. But I've also got, this is also the last year that I'm going to pay to do this service. The service that makes this possible isn't just posting up on YouTube. I have to pay for another service that lets me come on here and do all this. And it is steep. SteamYard is not a cheap service. And I don't have right now any the means to monetize what I'm doing on this, where so I've got to make a commitment to get to 500 followers where I can open up those means. And my wife has pretty much told me that this is I'm going to be doing this once a week. that this is it. This is what I do now. So spread the word that, but it's also, come February of next year, if I haven't made enough money doing this, then I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm gonna figure out something else because it's $1,000 a year for me to do this. And that YouTube, I need to make at least enough to where it's not costing me out of pocket, because I promise you, I don't have that. um, it so goals I've set, we're gonna get to 500. And I guess everybody likes a giveaway, so I've got some pretty good hitting that 500 follower subscription goal. I've got some pretty good ideas for some giveaways. Um, Something pretty substantial, I think, that everybody will like. Whether I haven't decided exactly whether I do a piece of custom artwork, large scale, or something like that. Toy giveaways, man, that's kind of, it's either done right or it's some bullshit. I really love every toy giveaway that I've ever won. I love everyone I didn't win. Fuck that. Uh, um, I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. And there's those that are way more toy committed. I'm thriving here. Way more committed to toy reviews and stuff like that than I am. I'm not just a toy tuber. I just play one on TV, but folks like Rowdy Riles and Poe Figure It Out and D Amazing, stuff like that, when they do giveaways and they're doing a toy giveaway, you really feel like you're, interacting with a real toy tuber. I don't want to use the term toy tuber. I really hate that term, but someone who is a lot more involved and committed and does their research. Me, I just pull shit out of my ass. It sounds right. So people are like, okay. But just because I like toys doesn't make me like a toy channel. That's what I'm trying to say. So doing a toy giveaway, that may be something I do. I do have some stuff that I can get rid of, um, that some people might appreciate, but I want to do something a little more me. So it's probably going to be some original artwork, um, or something really cool. But yeah, Brady said I need to get to 500 subs. That starts the process. Uh, so if you have a good time here, um, if you feel like we can have a better time here, we can do that too. I'm not opposed to prostituting myself out for money. I've been doing it for 30 years. What do you think tattooing is? I'm an art prostitute. So it but yeah, doing some shorts, man, I've tried it. I've had a good response. I just am really, really kind of a lazy fucker, and just getting some shorts, but I just uh, I don't know what I would do shorts about. I did one, it wasn't that short. It was under 15 minutes, about turning the Fortnite flyer from Hasbro into a base stand for the Cobra Trouble bubbles. It's a good short, still gets views, but it's not short. I don't know what I would do with on a short. I don't want to just, and I'm definitely not doing any fucking AI slop. I kind of feel like if I'm not doing something that has some substance to it, I don't want to do it. And I'm just speaking for me. You know, I know a lot of people. I watch a lot of shorts. I haven't talked to my wife in 5 years since they started doing shorts. Um, she only speaks in 3-minute sentences, you know, anymore. I've lost her to the shorts. Uh, I don't know what like I said, that's it'd be interesting to think of what I could do. I could brainstorm a few ideas. But I'm also kind of an ad lib person. Usually when I get on here and do this, it's I don't have a lot of prep. Um, I give it a little thought. I set down in my mind kind of a format of what I want to do and what time goals I want to achieve when I'm doing this. But a lot of times I'm just on here talking to my, you know, my, the chatters, uh, and, or something's of relevance has popped up and I really want to get it off my chest and I'm just going to talk or, you know, it's, I have no idea what I'm doing. There you go. That sums it up. Um, for years I got on Facebook and I would just get on and draw. And um and it was fun. And basically it was just I was already drawing. I was already producing the art. I was going to be drawing anyway, and this was just a third party, you know, brain avenue to chat with my friends while I bullshitted because I'd gone from a downtown shop where people were coming in and I always had somebody to talk to while I was working, um, to a private studio where it was just me in between clients. And now here at the house, it's my wife of 24 years who doesn't want to fucking talk to me. She's been talking to me for 24 years. She just, yeah, what are you talking about? You know, forget about it. It was the other guy. Yeah. Papa Ganoush. um, but in the kitchen to make me some pierogies. She's not gonna make me pierogies. Um, but you know, and I got a 22 or 25-year-old kid. I don't remember which. And she doesn't want to talk to me. She's got, you know, Discord. She doesn't need me anymore. So you know, y'all's all I got. And I'm stuck here in the house. You know, I can't drive. I can't lift anything more than the 2 pounds sack of small sack of flour, and um, I'm fat enough that masturbation's not any fun anymore. So you know this is it, the YouTube. So I've got to. I'm not looking to make a living YouTubing, but I want it to be self sufficient. That is my goal. And I don't want to abuse subs. I've got a sticker I made when I went to Dallas Fort Worth, the the GI Joe show down there. Um, a lot of people got confused about it because it said, oh, here, I'll pull one out. See if I can. Oh, I got some here. Um, anyway, basically, it was a picture of me in a fez, and it says, "No one cares about your subs," and it's because I was on a show, and all this fucker cared about was subs. Oh man, these subs, and I got this, and oh, I lost 3 last episode, and next week I gained 2, and all that. Who gives a shit? What I care about, what I've always cared about, has never been my sub numbers. Um, it's having people in my chat that I want to hear from. And I love random people popping in and having a question or a comment, something like it. Wonderful, wonderful. If you want to stay, join the crowd. I'm happy for that. The Fez welcomes all, except those that aren't welcome. And but I want to have some substance for the people that are here, even if it's just talking, like this. And talking about YouTube is definitely something that and the way some YouTubers act is super interesting sometimes. I've seen some, and a lot of the people that I associate with now, they're fantastic. They care about the people that sub them. It's one reason why I love hanging out with Rowdy. I've never seen anybody who genuinely cares about the people that sub her. It's inspiring. It really is. I'm not just, kissing ass. Fuck you, Rowdy. But it's people like the people I've met, Leah Glacier. Fantastic. No idea who you are, but you're Leah Glacier. And I'm glad you're here because you're always fun. You always bring a smile to my face. Cooter's Garage. Man, you had me at Cooter. I don't care what he's got to say. He can start talking about annihilating all the Martians on the planet that are sending 5G radio waves out. And man, I'm all for it. Whatever Cooter's got going on, I'm ready for it. I'm down. Let's arm up, buddy. Fuck them Martians. But it's YouTube is an interesting platform, and it's unique and fun to try to navigate how it works and where your place in it is going to be, and how not to be a piece of shit on YouTube. That's my ultimate goal. I don't care if I stay at I think I have right now about 155 or so people that either tune in or don't, but care enough to kind of keep up with what I'm doing. And shit, I totally spaced what I was. I'm not having a seizure. I'm okay. Nope, it's totally gone. Every thought I just had gone. Somebody paid attention to chat. What was I just talking about? That's what happens. You know what, you fuckers? Some of you ought to hope you get this old. This is what happens when I hit the 2-hour mark. Oh yeah, don't be a dick. Enjoy the people you talk to. So, how not to be my wife just checking on me. I'm not having a seizure. How just, offer something, even if it's just talking, because it's amazing how many people just need somebody to talk to, no matter what you talk about. Um, and it's just, I can always find something to talk about. I don't care what it is, movies, comic books. If it's in the kingdom of nerd, I promise you, I have got plenty in my repertoire. Um, that's what you call a 25-cent word, repertoire. It's fancy. People like fancy. Um, some people just need somebody else to talk to, and I've found that more times than not on YouTube. Um, you used to find it on Facebook, but now Facebook is just old people bitching about, you know, how wrong other people are about what tariffs are. Um, just it. I'm more than happy to get political, uh, but I have found it anyway. I'm getting off subject. To finish that point, don't argue with dumbasses because that's all they want you to do. But it's, and I don't mind. There's a difference between not being a dick and I'm still an asshole. Um, I've always been one. So, but be the type who has your people's back. And I always feel like I try to have my chatters backs. Um, things that are important to me aren't always important to the people I'm talking to. So I need to be relevant. And if you're relevant enough to have 500 people wanting to know what you've got to say, then, that's more than that kind of gets scary. I don't understand how so. I seen somebody the other day with like, they've been on Facebook for less than a year, or Facebook, YouTube less than a year, and they're already at 167,000 people, and that is just insane to keep up with that many people. That's a large soapbox that even my fat ass would have trouble filling. Um, but I don't know. And I don't know if I'll ever be relevant enough to make this pay for itself. Um, I'm sure if I picked the subject, I'm kind of one of those all over the place people. You don't really know. You can't look at my thumbnail and get that face. Fuck, I hate that. If your mouth is open in your thumbnail, fuck you. Um, Nobody wants to see your tonsils in your thumbnail. Everybody was shocked at this one fact that all my friends said I was stupid about. No. Skip. That's what how to do a whole episode about thumbnails that instantly mean what you avoid on YouTube. How not to watch a video. Um, I've done, and you know what gets me about all this YouTube stuff is I like reaction videos, but damn. That's what I need to do. I just need to start doing react. And you know what? I would love to try a reaction video, but they've got changes coming to the DMCA. That is something. Yeah, you know what? I should have mentioned this early in the show. Um, Everybody who has fair use content on their YouTube needs to be paying attention in the coming months, because there is a DMCA lawsuit in the works right now that may end fair use. And that means any content that you've ever made that has fair usage in it, they're not going to grandfather clause that shit. You're probably going to lose reaction videos, um, like any clip that you've pulled that you make a part of your opening or something like that. They will go back and just their AI program will automatically go in and copyright strike. I guarantee you it would probably end more than half of everybody on YouTube. It would absolutely destroy it. It is, yeah, why keep the box? Absolutely, it is some scary shit. Not being able to do fair use, that's I try to do, I don't really have anything like that. Nothing, um I don't do anything. I try to do just always original content. And I don't have any highlight reels or anything like that or show videos. Um, I've got plenty of equipment to do all of that shit. I just don't. Um, and one reason is why is because you never know when that shit is going to change. And then, the last 2 years of your fucking content all of a sudden disappears off YouTube, or you end up with 3 copyright strikes. Wake up in the morning and open up your email and it's like, nope, your channel has been deleted because we found, X amount of we'll see where it ends up. It's there's a lot of people who do not like that fair use, the DMCA stuff. They don't like it because people use it to call other people out on their bullshit. And usually the people who are doing the bullshit, they don't like it. You got some asshole who decides to use homophobic slurs on their show, and you cut 3 seconds out and share it with everybody and tell everybody what a piece of shit they are. You should be entitled to do that. I put myself out there publicly. Even my Facebook page, I have listed I am a public figure. So anything I do, I'm putting myself out to the public. I am putting myself out there for public scrutiny. If it comes out that I don't even know. I can't even imagine some of these pieces of shit and what they've done. I wasn't always an angel. I still ain't an angel. But if you put yourself out there publicly, people have got to be able to fair use you. It just I shouldn't be able to delete your channel just because you said, well, Max fucked up that tattoo 6 years ago, and I want to make sure everybody knows what a piece of shit he is on that, or he wrote some hot checks while he was high as a teenager, and everybody should know about. Yeah, that's true. But it's, I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. Everybody should make themselves aware that it is a thing, that is a possibility of things going terribly wrong. And the YouTube gods out there have not always been very open with what they do and how they do it how they're out, what changes they make to the algorithm and things like that. So, it's I'll see if I could find a link to it, and if so, I may try and post it up in the uh my community posts, and we'll see what happens. See how serious it is. Um, I'm trying to think. There was a YouTube channel. Um, See, this is what prep work is good for. You write shit down on your post-it notes, Max, and that's how you know to tell people about shit. Um, Hold on, I bet I could tell you. Um, I just watched it the other day. Check my subscriptions. Whew, it's time to do a little purging on the subs. I got oh, here it is. Lawful Masses with Leonard French. Um, this is his YouTube channel. Oh, come on. There you go. In fact, it was only 9 days ago. The title of the video is "The DMCA Might Be About to Destroy Fair Use." Um, it is. It's a video that literally everybody who is on YouTube. Yes, Louis Rossman. Thank you. That's yeah. Um, Everybody who's on YouTube should check out that video. The guy's hilarious, especially when he wears the different hats. He's kind of stopped doing that here lately, but I miss the hats. But check out that video, get an idea what's going on and how to keep up with it, and check it out because, man, if you lose fair use, honestly, I think that's probably more than 50% of YouTube that will go into the shitter. So, and Facebook, and it, and that's just going to lead to the rise of more AI bullshit because nobody will want to do anything that steps on somebody else's toes. And why, when you could just get, some machine to create you a bunch of slop. So, till I get my robot body, I promise this channel will always be made by a human, no matter how flawed I am. Come on, robot body. I'm ready. So anyway, I think I've yapped enough about everything. Uh like the video, please. On If you're on Facebook and that's where you're watching, come over to my YouTube channel, like and subscribe, share the news, and we'll just take it from there, see how it goes. But we're going to end the show the way I always end the show, with a little quote. And we're going to we'll keep it short and sweet this time. So, oof, boy, we may have to Thanked ye fortune and ere false wheel, that noon etat assureth to be weal. Knight's Tale. Pretty sure that's some Chaucer. Anyway, no idea. But that's your quote for the night, whatever it is, and wherever you are, and whatever you're doing. Good night, and best of luck.